pretty much, I think we pretty much know each other here pretty well here. It's the alternative group revolving around everything having to do with real estate except for tenants and toilets. There's a whole other meeting for that, which is actually going to be happening next Thursday morning, same time, same place. I know who runs that. Is that Beth and no?
It's the morning.
That's Bob and Pat.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
That's right. Yeah, Beth and Carl will be the evening ones. That'll be next week and at the same time. And next week is also going to be the general meeting. And I think they're going to be talking about marketing. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yep, that's correct.
Perfect. That'll be a fantastic topic because everybody and their grandma has been trying to get more properties. We'll talk about that later. Basically, and then obviously we're going to have another meeting next 2 Thursdays from today will be the evening meetings, and then the same thing after that will be the housing provider meeting. I can remember to call it that. It's not landlord meeting anymore. And then basically, look, we're going to keep this extremely, it's pretty much open topic. We got some things we want to talk about, but if there's things that people would like to talk about once we get started, you're more than welcome to interject, and we'll see what we can do in regards to answering a lot of your questions. Okay. I'd like to start off if anybody has any haves or wants, if you're looking for anything, anybody has any properties they're looking to sell, put it out there. Anybody have anything that they're looking to buy, sell? Everybody has what they want. Their Christmas list has been situated.
Anybody's got a couple $100 million laying around. I've got that thing in Boston still.
Oh man, give me a couple more weeks. Oh man, I know I'm looking for properties, commercial, residential, all different types of areas, big, small, doesn't matter what the price is. It's just going to matter on the numbers to make it work. Anybody else? Everybody's good?
Yeah, I'm looking for self-storage, of course. Looking down into Mississippi and Alabama now too. So all on the East Coast and Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, down in that area. We have one that we're selling in Missouri. We're gonna probably sell that one to a local investor. It needs a little bit of attention, so it's one that's a little bit more of a challenge to operate remotely. So we are selling that one out there in Missouri. But if anybody has anything, self-storage, we're willing to pay a nice finder's fee or bring you in as a partner. So that's what I'm looking for. Thanks.
Well, I'm looking for my first flip still. I'm not sure how much longer I'll be looking for one, but I've put in an offer on one. I don't think it'll be taken, but that's where I'm at now.
Think positive, Leslie.
Got to start somewhere, brother.
Yeah.
So Leslie, what are you looking
I'm
at?
hoping my offer isn't too high to make a profit at least. And I have a quick question though.
Well, hold on. I'm
okay.
going to let you ask that question after the haves and wants, and I got to see if Leon has to discuss anything real quick, and then I promise you I'll get to your question. How's that sound?
All right, sounds good.
Awesome. Thanks, Leslie.
And Michelle threw something up in the chat box too. They have a retail price off-market portfolio, 3 loans being paid back, and they're going to have funds available to lend soon.
Perfect. So they're advertising money.
Yeah, private lenders.
Yeah.
You have a lot of people who ask who the private lenders are and how do I get private money? And so there's the answer to the question, or one of the answers anyway. We have a lot of folks who invest passively by lending funds. So I mean, basically you, Joe asked if there was anything else that I wanted to cover. I don't think I have anything else. I mean, most of the items you've covered or Andy have covered. I guess the one thing that I'll mention is that we had a equity trust event, and I was really really surprised that one of the individual, and it was an event that was broadcast. It was sort of a national type of thing for equity trust, but the person's name that kept coming up was a guy by the name of Scott, and it was Scott from Rochester. And they talked about Scott and all the things that Scott was doing and how he was doing things when storage units, and he was using his self-directed IRA. And he had this option that he used, A to B, B to C type approach to things. They didn't go through all the details, but they spoke a lot about Scott. And at one point in time, they said Scott from Brockport, New York. So I said, oh, that really is the Scott that I know. So one of the things that's going to be happening, and I mentioned that part because Scott is going to actually in May be the presenter and actually presenting how he does his storage units, how he puts his projects together, what he's been doing, and give you some real life examples of how he's actually doing things, and people will be able to actually see how he does A to B, B to C, and how he uses self-directed IRA. I mean, I just can't wait. Really,
Excellent.
really. Yep. So looking forward to that May general meeting and all those great things that Scott's going to tell us about.
You bet. Thanks, Leon. I look forward to it.
Thank you. So I think that's all I had, Joe. Give it back over to you.
Okay. I guess we'll get to, actually we'll get to, unless I forgot anything, which hopefully I didn't, we'll get to Leslie's question. Go ahead, Leslie. What's your question?
Okay, I found this place and I'm putting an offer, and I'm thinking, well, I put it in without the inspection. I'm wondering how much of a risk am I taking? What does an inspection really give me?
Do you want to answer that for Leslie?
It's going to depend on how good your inspector is, because the first second you open a wall, all bets are off. You don't know what you're going to find, and neither do they. So experience, find somebody who can help you, because experience is going to mean a lot more in this case than hiring a home inspector to look at it. Because 9 times out of 10, they're there to get paid by, the buyer, and they don't care if what they put down on paper is legit or not. They're looking to develop a list of concessions.
So now, I mean, I'll interject a bit here. I mean, there's a couple of different ways to address this. I think Andy's comments were right on. That's what I was thinking when you initially brought it up the discussion. And so what do I mean when I say, well, there's a number of different ways to go about it? I mean, one of the things that Freedom First does, and one of the advantages that it provides to its members, is that you have people who have actually done flips before and have a fair amount of experience at doing it. So, I mean, you could always have someone actually go with you to do your first flip and help you work through the specifics of what it is that you need to be looking for and how you should be addressing a particular project. Do you what are the numbers that you go through? What type of flip is it that you're doing? Where is it located at? And see if it really fits with what your objectives are from a real estate investment standpoint. So, I mean, normally every year I take at least one or two, sometimes three people that I take and give them guidance, actually show them how to flip a property. So, and when I say show them, I mean, okay, here's how you need to do it. Here's the numbers. Okay, you don't know who the private lenders are. Here's a person who will actually lend you the dollars. And I can say that because I have the private lender understand that I'm going to be the person that's going to be helping that person be successful in their first project that they do. So it takes a fair amount of time and energy to do that. As I said, I did at least a couple of them last year. So if that's something that you're open to do, I mean, I could certainly help, and others in the room could actually help you with your first project. Because you've been coming to the meetings for a while, and I think that that's greatness in itself, but clearly the thing that we all try to do is we all try to get our first project done, because you actually learn so much more about real estate investing and actually how to do it by sort of jumping into the water, so to speak. And, you know, to the point that I think it was Andy that was making it, when you're doing a flip, you really don't know what you don't know. And that's where the biggest part of the problem comes in. So, you know, you sort of build a project around those pieces that you do know, and those that you don't know, you hope that they don't have this ability to wreck everything that you're trying to get done. And it takes a lot of work and experience to be sure that you know, the project that you're taking on is the right one. So that's my piece of input.
Leslie, can I ask you a question? How much experience do you have in construction anyways? Have you ever worked in construction? Do you know anything about construction in regards to looking at a property?
As far as construction, no. I mean, I've done a little fixing up around my house and stuff like that, of little things, but nothing major.
So this property you're looking at, is it a major rehab? Is it lipstick type rehab? Is it chapstick type rehab? What's the situation? What kind of rehab are we talking about here?
It looks more like a lipstick type of rehab.
Okay.
Supposed to have new mechanics, new roof, but you know, the things inside seem, some of it seems a little bit old. Things looked fairly sturdy for me, from what I could tell.
So are you doing kitchens, you doing kitchen, bathrooms? You're just doing paint? Are you doing paint, carpet, flooring? Are you? What's the deal here? And there's a reason why I'm asking.
I may do a partial bath. The kitchen, I'm not sure whether I should do it or not. I mean, to me, it doesn't look too bad. But of course, it's not, you know, 100% modern. It wasn't done recently. Okay. The flooring, I think it's okay. It's something I had ended up kind of doing a quick walkthrough. Because they were doing showings, and I was kind of being squeezed in between a couple of actual showings.
Yeah. You know, as far as what Leon said, that Leon was right on as far as going with somebody who's experienced. And Leon definitely knows. He's built his own properties, his own houses from the ground up. And, you know, for me, kitchens and bathrooms aren't exactly considered lipstick, but that's okay. But yeah, you know, and the thing is that very few people, like whenever I have done matter of fact, I'm looking back, I don't think I've ever done an inspection on any flip we were doing. Never.
Why?
Excuse me?
Why not?
Well, because, typically, after a while you get experience, okay, we got to do this, we got to do that, and it's just, you'll start gaining the knowledge. Plus, I come from a construction background, so it's a little bit different background than most people's background. Yeah, and besides, whenever you're doing a flip property, so if I'm selling a flip property to somebody or wholesaling one out, and the guy says I need an inspection done, mentally I've already moved on, and I mean that very nicely. Okay.
If I can interject for a second, I sell real estate, Leslie, and I'll tell you, in this market, the way it is right now, a seller's market, if you're lucky enough to get in the door with somebody who hasn't already put their house on the market and gotten you into the throes of multiple offers, I don't tell you this and say absolutely don't get an inspection, but I would say that if I was representing the seller and I had a choice between an offer for $50,000 that required an inspection and an offer for 45 that didn't, I'd probably take the 45 offer, or tell my sellers to take the 45 offer, because it's just one less thing to worry about. It's a clean and simple offer. So I'd say if you're going to go look at the place, bring somebody knowledgeable with you. And, if you really want it and you're in a multiple offer situation, work on that person giving you the information you need, and try to make the offer strong without an inspection, if at all possible, if you're comfortable doing that.
The other, Michelle had a good point too, about making sure the plan is in place. She put it in the chat box: purchase price, rehab plan and budget, holding cost, buy, sell, ARV. It all has to work. If the numbers don't work, don't put in an offer. Like, you have to know before you put the offer in if you're actually going to make money or not.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a key part of what you really need to go through. I mean, again, it's one of those things that you learn over time, and by doing. I mean, one of the things that I do is I look at what's going to be the total cost of the close. That you gotta, when you're gonna close when you buy it, you're gonna close when you sell it. You got to look at, well, what's the holding cost? The holding cost is different if it's in the winter than if it's in the summer, and you have to take all those things into account if you really want to be close to the numbers. And you need to consider all those things if you're going to evaluate it. And I think the list that Michelle generated is absolutely necessary, and it's sort of a beginning point. And so before I go to look at a property, I went through all those numbers and feel very, very comfortable with that. I don't know where you are, Leslie, and whether you went through the numbers like that, but it's if you haven't done it before, then it's a challenge. But I have a spreadsheet that I use, and I just quickly go through it every time and sort of say, okay, here's where we are. And I probably look at 100, 200 properties before I even consider putting an offer in on it, because a lot of times when you go through the numbers, you recognize that either you're not making the amount of money that you want to, or it's a situation where no matter what you do, you're not going to win. Let's put it that way. Win means that the money goes into your pocket and not somewhere else.
Yeah, with this one, I tried to look at what I thought it would, the ARV, what I think in the ARV may be, and how much I may need to put into it, but those are the things I'm not really that good at. So I'm
Yes.
kind of,
So let's.
I look at a house and I'm thinking, okay, there's these things I might want to do, and what is it really going to cost me? And maybe I could be missing things that need to be done. So I think getting those actual numbers is what I'm not really that good at. But like you said, that would come with some experience. So
Well,
I'm trying to kind of follow that principle a bit, but you know, to actually get the right numbers is the biggest issue for me, I think.
Leslie, this is what you need to do this week, not next week, this week. You got to call some of the people that are in this group, find out if they're going to a house to look at, and go with them. Okay? That's what you need to do, because it'll also give you a better idea of what things are going to cost. And that way, when you walk into a house, you'll say, oh, okay, this is what this other person was gonna cost for their kitchen. This is where I need to be. Okay? That's a great way to learn. So locate somebody, call them up, and find out when they're going.
Okay, yeah, I'll try to. Right,
So
but I
let-
guess I need to know who would be going through houses.
I'm sure you got enough people on this call that you know and talk to, or you can call other people, say, who do you know? Who do you know? Who do you know? I promise you, there's a bunch of people going through houses this week.
Okay.
And that's
So
what you
Liz,
want to do.
yeah, so Leslie, I think that, you know, if you look at what Joe is suggesting, I think that that's a great approach to take. And what Joe gave you was one of many pieces of what needs to be done. And so, I mean, what I would suggest is that you look at how you're going to address each one of those major components or major questions. For example, you asked about after repair value. So I've been doing real estate for a while, and I think that I have a pretty good handle on what the after repair value is of properties, but I don't do it. And because the chances of me being wrong is not very high, but still, I'm not comfortable in knowing whether or not the values have changed substantially in one part of the city versus another. And so every time I get really serious about this particular property and whether or not the value of it is correct, I asked a real estate agent, one that I have an established relationship with, to do a comparative market analysis. And so they're looking at specific properties in that specific area to know what the value of the property should be. Now I have an advantage, of course, because Mary Jane is a real estate broker, but if you're going to be flipping houses, you need to have a relationship set up with someone who understands how you do real estate as an investor versus just an individual who is really good at real estate, but they work primarily with people who buy houses for themselves and for people that are going to live in it. Let me just say it that way. They're just doing retail stuff, okay? And so on this particular call, I mean, you have several real estate agents who understand the real estate investing arena quite well. And so, you know, call them up, talk to them, and then build a relationship with them. And so what do I mean when I say relationship? When you get ready to buy the property, okay, they're not probably going to be involved in that if you're buying it from a wholesaler. But if you're buying it from an individual where the property is multiply listed, then you should be using their services. When you get ready to sell it, you should again be using their services. And that's what I mean by a relationship where you're working together with a person who understands what your objectives are, and you're doing things that creates a win-win situation. So I mean, that's one piece. So one of the things to do is, again, back to the list that Joe started, just go off and just generate these lists of items. And so someone that you're going to go out and look at a property with and get feedback from them. And then the second one that I just gave you was establish a relationship with a real estate agent or broker. And then the second one could be, a third one could be understand how you would go through and generate a spreadsheet to have you be able to analyze whether or not on paper a property makes sense or not. So you would generate that sort of thing, and you would just use that list over and over again when you decided that you're going to go out and look at a property. And so, you know, it's a series of things of that sort. And I'm not going to try to go through each one of them here.
So Leslie, does that answer your question?
Well, I guess, you know, it gives me something to do, helps me out to be able to get started. Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. All right.
The one thing I'm not home, so I'm in from my phone, and I don't know how to get to see the chat list or the question things that are being put in there. Like you mentioned before that I forgot the name, was that put some information out there about, you know, looking at ARV and all of that stuff. I can't see all of that, or I don't know how.
You trying to
On my
find the
phone.
chat on your phone? I'm the wrong person to ask. That I can't help you with.
Leslie, what's your email address? I'll send you a quick email. This is Michelle.
Okay, it's LBR9712978@AOL.com.
I mean, Leslie, just to interject again, and then I'll set up, let some other people talk or provide your input. I mean, one of the things that Michelle put into the chat box was to join Bigger Pockets. And Bigger Pockets has a number of examples, a number of people who are basically going through and giving their way of approaching the question that you've asked. The advantage that you have with this group is that we know how things operate locally in this particular area. So, I mean, one approach would be that you go into Bigger Pockets and just start to look at how they are addressing the questions that you are looking at or asking now. And then you can come back to this group for some clarification, so that it's a way of building your knowledge, if you will, around things and how they operate when you're trying to do flips or really any other subject that's associated with real estate investing. Bigger Pockets is a very good place to start. And when you get specific questions that's more associated with our area, we can address those.
Okay, so Bigger Pockets, I can have I can find answers to my questions just by looking through what's out there, or
Yeah, you can search the site to find stuff. You can also go into a specific forum and ask questions. There's a Rochester specific forum there that a few people that are local investors are pretty active in. Some of them are members of this group, some of them are not. But there's a ton of good info there. You can ask a lot of specific questions about Rochester in that forum, and there's a ton of other ones. They did update their forums like 3 months ago, and it is a freaking nightmare to navigate now, in my opinion, compared to the way the old ones were. But all the information is still there. You just have to kind of use that little search bar, and that's going to be the quickest way for you to locate the information you're looking for.
okay.
And another one on Facebook is Real Estate Rookies, which is part of Bigger Pockets. And they have tons of great info that I've been able to use on there. And you can search in the search bar on Facebook, and they got tons of info. You can ask questions, everyone responds.
Okay, all right, thank you. What is it? What's it called again? Facebook what? I mean,
Real Estate Rookies. It's
Real
also,
Estate Rookies?
yeah, it's part of Bigger Pockets, and they have a podcast also where they explain a lot of beginner questions, and they go through it. They're not long episodes, maybe 45 minutes to an hour max.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody, for your input.
Hey, Joe, I have a question.
Yeah.
So
I can barely
I'm-
see your face.
you can't see me?
Barely. That's all right. Go ahead. I can't
Oh,
help.
sorry, it's dark in my office. So I've talked to you offline, but I have 2 properties under contract off market I was able to secure. And my question is how long after I rent, because I'm gonna hold them, after I get them rented, can I initiate the refinance process?
That depends on the bank. I'm sure Joe McGuire probably, Joe, are you still on? I don't know. if Joe-
Yeah, it depends upon the kind of, CNB is a member. I would, and a number of people work with them. Call them. and ask
Yeah, I'll be going through them.
Yeah, call and ask, because they change the rules periodically. So I can't tell you exactly how long you had to hold it. It used to be, well, it used to divide as whether you wanted cash out or we're doing a rate and term. Cash out, I think, required 12 months, a rate and term, not very long at all. But assuming this is something you're going to want to rehab to improve the value, then you're going to be holding for a little bit of time anyways, and then do a rate and term or a cash out, depending. But
Thank
I
you.
would call, look at the vendor site there, actually, and on Andy's sheet at the beginning there, he had a couple of people from CNB with phone numbers. Best ways to call them and ask them. But with that said, I have a property, well, I have somebody's looking for a property, and I don't understand why CNB is taking this position, but she had COVID last November or December and was in ICU and missed one credit card payment from Home Depot, and they destroyed her credit. They just will not improve it. So that's hurting her quite a bit, which I think is silly, but it's just my opinion. But yeah, no, I would just call them and ask them. They're nice people, and they want to do business.
I like dealing with CNB Bank.
If you're talking about me, hell, you could close it, do it the next day. I'm easy on that sense, but
Yeah. Yeah.
everybody has their own, well, no, that's not true. Private people, everybody has their own. Institutions tend to follow they follow Fannie, Freddie because they're going to sell there. But what kind of surprises me about CNB is they portfolio, so they're not selling it. But yeah, which is a long answer to a short question. I'm sorry.
And they are easy to deal with. I just did refi with 9 properties with them just a couple of months ago. So they're really great to deal with. Hopefully that answered your question.
It did, thank you.
No problem. If you have any more, and if you need to call me and let me know, I can always refer. I know we deal with Adam Smith, and I deal with somebody else over there also, just in case. All right.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
All right. Anyone have any questions? Anything that they'd like to talk about? Anything? Everybody's good? Perfect. I was actually, Scott and we were talking this morning, and I know I've been getting so many calls. I've been talking with so many people because of what's been going on with the market. And then their one thing that they're afraid of is what's going to happen in the next 6 to 8 months from now. And everybody's trying to figure out what the heck is going to happen, what the heck is going on. And the funny thing about it is that Leon last week sent out it was an email on some of the things happening in real estate. and about what could possibly happen with the inventory, and also having to do with short sales, foreclosures, pre-foreclosures, and everything else that's been going on. And the funny thing about it was that, you know, like, and I know I've talked about this maybe a few meetings ago, but obviously, you know, the market, everybody knows inventory is so low. Oh my God. Leslie knows it because obviously went into houses competing against other people like the rest of us are. But one of the things that I've been noticing is that, you know, I used to do a lot of short sales many, many years ago. And I have not done short sales in a long time. And all of a sudden in the last 4 or 5 months, I think we're doing 4. And we're also looking at a few more. And you know, that's going to tie in with what's going to happen here. Obviously, at the beginning of the call, we were talking about what's, you know, with a moratorium. Once the moratorium is lifted, we all know there's going to be an influx of properties. There's going to be, you know, there's a lot of people who are behind on their mortgages, and that is definitely going to make a big difference in regards to eventually more properties coming to the market. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about was basically, you know, because short sales can be a very big opportunity. It helps the homeowner out because they need to get the heck out. Doesn't think their credit is bad. And at the same time, when it comes to the investors like us, it's also a good opportunity because we can buy properties at a really good price. And one of the things that I've been seeing is that I'm going to tie all this together, by the way. Okay. And for those of you who don't know what a short sale is, it's basically somebody who owes $200,000 on a property, and the bank settles, says, hey, you know what? We'll take $110,000 and we'll call it even. Okay. And that allows us to buy the property at $110,000. The homeowner who is behind on their mortgage gets to walk away and start over again. Okay. And in the meanwhile, they don't worry about getting a foreclosure on their credit for the next 7 years. They can rebuild and they can move upward and onward. And sometimes the bank will even give them money to walk away, which we're not going to get into right now. I just want to focus on how it's going to affect us. And this is also going to concern people who are buying and holding to rent, not just people who are flipping. Okay. So, you know, what I want to focus on is what the heck is going to do for us for the next six to 8 months, because everybody's been trying to figure this out. And we've all been hearing about, number one, once the moratorium ends, we know that there's going to be an influx of properties that are going to be coming to market. Banks are going to open up, and I'm sure they're going to start foreclosing. There's going to be short sales coming to the market. So all these, which is great for people like us who are selling, all these lines and massive purchase offers coming in and delayed negotiations. You know, we're enjoying them now, but you know, 6, 8, I mean, could it be 8 months from now? I don't know. Could it be a year from now? In the very near future, for the very short term, you know, Colleen will tell you it's just nuts right now with what's going on. You know, right now, you know, we're flipping a couple of properties. I can't wait to get them out to market because we know what's been going on and what's been happening. Okay. One of the things that I have been seeing, obviously, is right now there are people who are buying as much as they can, which is fine. The only thing that I'm seeing is that they are buying them at the prices right now, which are way too high, and they're hoping and praying that they stay that way for a while. I'm not a gambler when it comes to dealing with that kind of money. If I go to the casino, I'll bring maybe $100. It would be $200. But if you're talking about gambling a couple of $100,000 at a time, I'm not that person. Okay. And, you know, I wanted to go over some of the stuff that I've been seeing. I'm going to tell you about some of the stuff that we've been doing and, you know, and that I'm doing right now. I'm going to go over some of the numbers with some of the people here. When it comes to especially locating the short sales, because everybody's out there trying to find properties, and I'm seeing a lot of people trying to target now those people who are in arrears, who are starting to find out that, hey, this moratorium is going to end, which we all know there, you know, something's going to happen somewhere, someplace. I don't know who to what, but one of the things that we're doing is that on the short sales, and I'm going to tell you about a good one. I'm going to tell you about one that may not be going too well. Okay. That we're doing right now. We did one where the BPO came in at a really good price. Okay. Now, we knew that whether the market was going to go up or down, it didn't matter. I wanted to make sure we were going to get it at a good price. The thing was that with the short sale, we got it at a good price, but what happened was the seller had so many liens. We almost didn't work because I was getting a little nervous. You know, for me, 1% doubt, I'm out type of situation. And no matter what, we got it at a really good price. And even if the market goes down, because we don't know what's going to happen, especially when it comes to dealing with, you know, everyone says interest rates is probably going to go up. I don't know when, I don't know what's going to happen with that, but everybody's expecting that to happen. But no matter what, when it comes to the short sales, I want to make sure we're going to get it at a good price. Otherwise, I'm walking away. And that's all there is to it. Some people are like, they'll take the chance. I'm not that person who's going to take a chance. Okay. And by the way, are there any questions prior to me moving on here? Because I want to make sure everybody understands, because I don't know if some people have any issues dealing with the short sales or not.
I've dealt with a lot of short sales over the years, and I've had fairly good successes with them, but I'm definitely listening to what Joe's saying, because, you know, it seems like it's got to hit at some point. The market's got to top out at some point, and things are going to start coming back. I'm like Joe. I'm not a gambler. I don't want to be caught holding something that, you know, now we're on the other side of it. So I've been very interested to see what happens with this market. I've taken a conservative approach, maybe too conservative, but I would say in the last year, probably year and a half, I've really have taken a conservative approach, just kind of waiting for the shoe to drop. So might not happen, but it could happen. And in my opinion, you want to be ready. So Joe, I appreciate you bringing this up and talking about it.
Oh yeah. You know, I've had people tell me the same thing. Joe, you're being too careful. The problem is that the timeline. Now, short sales is going to be a really great opportunity. The issue is going to be is that with the short sales, you don't know how long the banks are going to take. Okay. Some of them, we actually had one that took like 3 months, 3.5 months. We were shocked, which was fantastic. I mean, we got it at an unbelievable price. Had you know, I was like, wow, which was great. The issue with the short sales, if you're a wholesaler, if you don't know, I'm sure most of us know, you're not going to be able to wholesale them out. Okay. Whoever buys it from purchase offer to the end has to be the exact same person. That's all there is to it. Okay. And one of the things is that typically, now I haven't had a short sale take 3 to 4 months in a long time. Usually it's 6 months, 8 months. You know, it's just ridiculous. A couple things came into play with this house. Number one was that it was worth somewhere around $150,000. Okay. We got it for around $32,000 and change. By the time we were done with closing, we're somewhere around $37,000. Now, for the way I looked at it, I was like, okay, here's a great thing about it. Even if the market goes down, I don't care if the prices drop to $120,000 in that area there. Okay. From 150 down to 120. At the price that we had it, it wouldn't have mattered because we were still going to make a profit. That's the conservative part of me, just exactly what Scott Spear was talking about, because I needed to make sure. The other issue is that with that property, a couple things came into play. Number one, they threw in an anti-flip rule. So even though by the time we're done with closing, we're about 37,000 and change, a little under $38,000. They told us that if we sold the house within 90 days, we were only allowed to sell it for, I think it was 34,000 and change. We would have to have taken a $4,000 loss on the property. God forbid the bank allows you to make money on it. So obviously with the amount of work it needed, it's fine because it's going to take 90 days to do what has to be done to it anyway. So it wouldn't have mattered in that property. Okay. Now, the other issue is that typically whenever you buy a property, you're about 6 months, 30 days to buy it, 30 to 60 days to fix it up, sell it within the first 30 days. Right now, people are selling stuff in 1, 2, 3, 4 days. I don't want to be thinking that way. I want to think within the 30 days, 45 to 60 days for someone to buy it pre-qualified. So here's the issue. All right. So if you start the short sale today, and let's just say things go great and easy and the stars all align and there's, you know, rainbows all over the place and purple skies, and you get approved within 90 days. By the time you're done selling it, you're going to be into Christmas and January of next year. Okay. That was another reason I needed to make sure that one short seller we're talking about was going to be at a price that no matter what happened, I needed to make sure we were going to be in a really good position. And in that one, it worked out. It's going to work out perfectly. Okay. We're doing another one right now where we were just on the cusp of that one working, not working. We figured by the time we get it done, which we're rushing to get through it, the market's still hot. We're going to be just fine on it. But it was on a little bit of a threshold. Worst case scenario, if the market fell by 50+%, we'd buy it and hold it as a rental. It still would do fantastic, but it's not, the market's not going to come crashing down by 50%, with that property. The short sales are going to be a way where a lot of us, because everybody and their grandma is trying to find properties. We all are. It's a great opportunity and a great way to be able to target people and help them who are in a situation where they know eventually they're going to have to get the heck out of their house. Okay. And by the way, anybody have any questions or anything you want to discuss about what I'm talking about as far as for themselves? We're all on the same page. We all understand. Okay. So one of the things that Leon, which was kind of funny because Leon sent his email out in regards to what's happening and what's going to happen with the influx of properties in regards to foreclosures and pre-foreclosures to the market. Now, as of February, which was April, less than 2 months ago, about 6% of properties are going into pre-foreclosure, which is a lot. I think the average was somewhere around 1 and change, 1 plus something %. So people think, well, okay, what's the big deal? It's 4 or 5 times that amount. Okay. So you start to understand long-term what's going to happen here. These people are going to have to pay their bills. So now the question is, all right, how do you get in there and how do you try to help these people out? And understand, it's not about going in there and trying to take advantage of these people, okay? Some people are just burying their heads in the sand. Well, I'll work with the mortgage company. I'll work with this. Some of them will allow them to put their back payments on the back end of the mortgages. Some of them will not. And some of them are just going to be like, you know what? Some of them may not recover after the moratorium is ended. And who the heck knows when that's going to happen. But the longer that moratorium goes on, the more of a backup and the more of the buildup. So now you got to figure out, okay, what do you need to do to be able to at least get in front of this, or at least get in the way of some of these deals coming to market. Okay. There are people out there who they just don't know that they don't even know what a short sale is. And it's up to people like us to be able to educate them and be able to at least put it in front of them and present it to them. So, I've been asking some of the people, I'm like, because when people ask me what's the market going to be doing, I'm like, it's not going to be like this forever. We already know that. And then they're like, okay, I'm trying to find properties to be able to get, in front of what's happening right now. Yeah, short sales is a great way to find properties, but it's also can be a lengthy property. It can be like you watching me, watching your neighbor's dog, watching grass grow. It can be slower than slow. At the same time, you can give yourself a really good opportunity while also helping out the homeowner. And short sales to homeowners, I've had people try to explain, I've seen people explain short sales to people and confuse people, do absolutely nothing. You have to keep it so simple to them. I like to keep it simple for me. Okay, if you go in and you try to complicate it and you try to tell them this and you try to tell them that, all I tell them, I go, look, all we're going to do is we're going to try getting the house at a much lower number to settle with the bank for you, and you get to walk away and not have a foreclosure that's going to follow you around like an anchor around your neck for the next 7 years. Is it going to ding your credit? Yes. At the same time, you'll be able to recover a heck of a lot easier than you will be from a foreclosure. And we handle the process for you. Okay. I'm also going to tell you about a BPO we just had Monday. Oh yeah, it's Monday, 4 days ago. Actually, it's one that Brandy is working on. She actually, and by the way, I think she was following up with this guy for a little bit. And Brandy, I don't remember. Do you remember if this guy knew what a short sale was?
I don't think he did.
Okay, so, and then, because you contacted him, and then I think you explained to him what the short sale was, and then he was interested, and then we sat down with him?
Yes. Yes.
That's what he did? All right. So if I recall, and I apologize, because we sat down with him, was this about 2 months ago?
I would say a month ago, maybe.
Okay. All right. So basically this guy, he was going through divorce, house sitting there, Greece, great area of Greece, ranch. So we're, all our BPOs have been going pretty good up until this one. The house is worth in a regular, if the market wasn't as crazy as it is now, it'll be worth probably around 150 to 160 average market. Right now, the way stuff's going, 180, 190, 200. If you put Colleen Bracci on it, she'll get you like 230, 250. Who knows with her? She's just getting prices, which is just absolutely unbelievable to me, and more power to her. Okay. But the bank had what's called a BPO, a broker's price opinion. And by the way, our goal was to basically flip this property. Okay, get in there, fix it up, get it over to market. It needed probably around $30,000 to $40,000 worth of work. Okay, Brandy found it in a really good neighborhood, and she figured, you know what, this might be a really good opportunity for her, and to be able to get in there and make some things happen over there. Now, basically, we wanted to see about paying no more than $75,000, maybe $80,000. We obviously went way lower than that, and they did 2 BPOs. So brokers price opinions, they had two separate people drive by this place. They didn't even go inside. They drove by because the outside looks really, really good, which is bad for a BPO. And the BPO came in at around, one came in at 150,000, the other one came in at $155,000, which would just, obviously it's not going to work. I mean, it's going to need $30,000 to $40,000 buying, holding costs, closing costs, commissions, and everything else. Okay. That one, obviously, we are requesting a brand new BPO to be done and to be done on the inside. Okay. By the way, any questions on this so far with the BPO? Am I explaining this okay? Am I talking too fast? Please let me know here.
No, I think you're covering it good, Joe. One thing I do want to say, and I don't know if anybody picked up on this, but this is a very important key, is when you're buying these properties, you're not taking advantage of the people. You're helping them out of a situation. They're going into a situation and it's just going to get worse. The quicker you can get in front of them and help them on the short sale, the quicker their problems go away, the easier it's going to be to do that short sale. But that's the biggest thing, is these people don't know what they don't know. And they're scared. I'll be honest with you. They're scared. They don't know what's going to happen. The quicker you can get in there and help them out of that situation, the better you're going to be and the better they're going to be too. So that's all I'll have to add to that.
Yeah. Scott's 100% right on this. People don't know what a short sale is. And by the way, when the market crashed back in, what was it, 07, 08, Bank of America in the short sale department had around 100 plus people. 100. After the crash, they had 30,000 people. 30,000 handling short sales. Okay. I remember we were doing so many short sales. It was just because, you know, you're over there, you're trying to help these people out. And most of them don't even know what a short sale is. And very few people know how to handle them. And short sales is just a whole different subject for, I mean, you could spend an unbelievable amount of time on them. I mean, we will answer some questions on them. What I want people to understand is that, you know, all of us are trying to find properties. So now it's like, okay, you really have to get in front of this trend. There's going to be a ton of foreclosures. And once the foreclosures hit, you're going to be going against all these other people who are going to be, especially right now, people are just dying for properties. If you put one foreclosure out on the market, you're going to be competing against so many people. I don't even bother, because I know it's just the numbers are going to get outrageous. The short sale, it's just you and the seller. That's it. There's going to be nobody there. So you got to understand, you're going to have to, this is going to happen. So you got to figure out, number one, how are you going to market to these people? How are you going to, because you're going to have to start, you know, whether you get pre-foreclosure lists, whatever it is you want to do, you know, you're going to have to start educating these people, and you're going to have to make it as easy as possible to do this. Okay. We had one guy, I was helping a brother and sister. His name is Chris, and his sister do a short sale in Webster. And the previous person that he was doing it with was unbelievably nightmarish. Over a year plus trying to screw around with it. He just wanted to get rid of it. He just wanted it off his back, off his neck. And, you know, he's paying taxes on it. And it was his family house, just ridiculous. And I had to contact his ex-wife because Chris didn't really have a whole lot of experience with dealing with short sales. And after talking to the ex-wife, who was still friends, they were talking with the ex-husband. She goes, "You need to talk to my ex-husband, because he would really love to hear from you, because you're making this sound like it's like the other person didn't really know what they were doing." And I wanted to be nice. I said, "Well, listen, I like to keep things simple." And one of the things that I found out is, and Scott, I'm sure you could probably attest to this, is that as crazy as it sounds, most real estate agents don't know how to handle short sales. What are you finding?
Yeah, I agree. Most don't know how to handle them. It's a very long process. It's a very involved process. It's not a simple sale. So, yeah, when it comes to short sales, you want to find somebody who specializes in that.
Yeah. Yep. You know, and it'll make your life a heck of a lot easier.
Yeah, for sure.
Because, oh my, Scott, how many times have you had to send in the same thing 5 times?
More than I want to count. But when you get the right realtor involved, you know, it's a lot of work, and you want the right attorney and the right realtor to work on it for you.
Yep, it is.
The
And
crazy thing I know about this is like, even they know it's a short sale, they try to list for the max price and just put down comment, possible, short sale, but they're still looking for the top price. And that's crazy.
well, one of the things that I asked them,
Mhm.
I asked them if they put that price on there, did the bank already do the BPO? If they said no, then you've got something to work with. You can say, look, I see this is the price you're trying to get. At the same time, I'm going to go in lower. I want to be respectful of your time here because the bank always goes up. Okay. If they've already done the BPO and I know the numbers don't work, I'll wait like 6 months till it expires. If it's still sitting there, and I'll tell them, say, look, please keep my number. I'm interested in the property. I'm an all cash buyer. At the same time, this price does not work for me. Okay. I have cash, so please keep me in mind.
Sure.
Okay. Now, a lot of, I'm not trying to just focus on the short sale part, saying, okay, we're just talking about the short sales. What I am telling you is that, you want to get in front of what's going to happen here. You have to, because everybody else who understands what's going on is going to get in front of this. And even though I don't care, some people, they send letters, some people send postcards, some people make the phone calls, the mail, the voice drops, texting, whatever it is that you're doing. Okay. If you talk to these people once or twice, they don't understand short, so they don't know. Okay. And it's true. This is a true statistical fact. Confused people do nothing. Okay. And once you educate them on a short sale and get yourself educated on them, it's not that hard if you have a good real estate agent and a good attorney knows how to deal with them. And not all real estate agents are created equal, and neither are the attorneys. It'll make your life a heck of a lot easier. They'll be happy. I've had people thank me because they were able to go and actually buy other properties down the road, or just get stuff off their backs. Okay. So it's going to happen. And the other thing too is that even if you start the short sale, and let's just say the short sale takes you 4 or 5 months, and all of a sudden you start to know, and because look, we're going to start to finding out what's going to happen here 5-6 months from now with the economy. If we all know interest rates are going to go up, inventory is going up, and we're starting to see that all of a sudden, there's not a lot of multiple offers coming in and there's more days on market. And if you're doing the short sale and you don't get it at the price you want it, you are allowed to walk away. You can say no. Okay. Sometimes you can negotiate with a bank. So it gives you that cushion. It gives you that safety factor. So it's not like all of a sudden you said, you know what, I have to buy it for this price, and you're stuck there. Okay. I don't like walking away from deals at this because I want to make sure to take care of the homeowner, but I let the homeowner know, say, look, if the bank is going to be stupid, they're going to come in like that one where they came in at $155,000. Those numbers will never work. Okay. And the homeowner understands that, and he's not stupid. He knows that. Okay. At the same time, he appreciates us being able to keep him up to date and saying, and being honest with him. Okay. So get yourself, and if you don't know anything about short sales, find out people who do, because when you're talking to these people, they're going to be very confused because they don't understand how come the bank is going to take, $90,000 less. Okay. The one that came in at 32,000 and change, I think she was at somewhere around 100, it was 120. I think that's what she owed. And that was obviously a huge drop. But again, they went in, they did the BPO, the broker's price opinion, which is the appraisal. And that's the number they came up with. Okay. By the way, is anyone seeing this trend going on or is noticing this happening besides me?
Interest rate is definitely going up. Than
Wait,
what
what was that again? I apologize. I didn't understand.
Yeah, the interest rate is definitely up than a couple months ago. It was bottom to 2.5, now it's 3.25. So coming soon, looks like it's time, and it's coming soon.
Yeah, I'm just, obviously right now, everybody's been a little up in the air with what's going on. And like Scott Spear, myself, I am conservative. Sometimes some of the people that I do stuff with, they're like, Joe, you're just too conservative. I don't like to gamble. And if some of you like to gamble, that's fine. Okay. But I'm just trying to get ahead of what's going to be happening here. Okay. Like Leslie's been trying to find a property for a while that I know. Obviously he's not the only one having a hard time. So don't feel like you're the only one, Leslie. At the same time, I'm constantly out there trying to figure out, okay, if everybody's going left, when's it going to finally go right? I want to go right before everybody else finds out, or or have less people there in the way. Okay. Any questions, anybody? Scott, if you want to add anything to this, or?
Yeah, I definitely like to talk about this in 2 weeks on Thursday night. Let's see if we can get Colleen to come on and talk a little bit, see if she's starting to see that shift a little bit, because I'm starting to see, and maybe it's just one or two, but I'm starting to see some people are putting houses on the market, and then all of a sudden now there seems to be a little bit of a price drop on some properties, and I see some properties that are kind of sitting on market longer than they normally would. So I don't know if we're starting to see that shift, or maybe it's just one or two houses that's the situation on. So I'd definitely like to hear from somebody like Colleen to say, hey, what are you seeing in the market? What do you see going on? So I definitely, hopefully in 2 weeks, like talk about this again.
Yeah, who knows with her? She's so busy. She probably should be talking to us while she's walking through a house.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she's probably signing contracts right now.
I know.
Oh, we can get you $250,000 for this house.
Yeah.
But Michelle Wheeler, could you chime in? I know you're not on video, but would you be able to chime in? And are you seeing anything like this?
Hi, so I think what we are seeing is if the property is priced right, if it's in a decent area, and if it's not tenant occupied and owner occupant, it sells within 48 hours. But there's people who are trying to take advantage of the market and overpricing. I think those are the ones that you're seeing that are sitting on the market or having price reductions. And then what we're also seeing is that the properties that are tenant occupied, that could be a great owner occupant house, is perhaps, if overpriced, sitting because of the eviction moratorium, people aren't willing to take that chance with tenants. So we're helping a few of our investors to sell properties, and the ones that are vacant and move-in ready and owner occupant worthy are selling quick, over asking price, multiple offers. And then the ones that are tenant occupied We're pricing them at investor prices, and it's still nowhere near as competitive as if it were vacant. Make sense?
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I was just
one
gonna,
thing I will,
go ahead.
just real quick, I'll say, if you have a house that's tenant occupied and right now it's vacant and you want to maximize the dollars for it, you may want to reach out to a realtor with experience and get their opinion on it, because, you know, if the market's still hot, maybe instead of throwing a tenant in there, you know, maybe wait a month, throw it on the market, see what kind of response you get. And you might be able to sell it at a retail sale right now. That, if I had rentals and if they were vacant, that's what I would do right now. I'd try to sell them, clean them up. I'd sell them as owner occupant.
And that's exactly what we are doing. Not that we want to lose management clients, but in doing what's in the best interest of our clients, every property that goes vacant, we have that conversation with them. If you ever thought about selling, now is the time because of the low rates, the inventory shortage. You know, a property that a client could get 100,000 for today, he may only be able to get 70,000 for it, tenant occupied, or, you know, later in time when things settle.
And I was just going to chime in on just to kind of pile onto the interest rate thing. Yeah, interest rates are going up, but most investors, if the interest rates are below 4%, they still consider it free money. Once we see that creep north of 4%, you're going to see a massive market shift. You're going to see a lot of people stop being interested in taking out notes. So just watch that number. Once we're at 4.25, the game is going to shift.
Yep.
Michelle, I have a question on who the buyer is. Is the general buyer retail for houses, are they first-time home buyers or other?
There's a wide variety of buyers. You have first-time home buyers, you have renters that are now becoming home buyers. There's still a ton of investors. In the multifamily, we're finding owner occupants who are looking to live in one of the units and take advantage of the rental income to pay their mortgage. So there's many different brackets of buyers, and then there's you know, buy and hold buyers, and then there's flippers. So there's each investor, each buyer is completely different.
Okay, there's not one that you see standing out as the bulk or the majority?
For vacant homes, owner occupants, and a lot of those are first-time home buyers. For occupied, primarily investors.
Okay, thank you.
It's cheaper to buy a house than it is to rent, than it is to pay rent.
That's actually true. We are actually approaching some of the tenants. I've run a scenario at retail price at 4.5% with potential grants, but even still closing costs, taxes, insurance, water, the mortgage payment, principal, interest, taxes, insurance, everything is generally still less than what they are paying for rent. And you can be creative and give seller concessions, help them to get grants, help them to fix their credit. So those are cases where you still might be able to sell retail with a tenant in place if they're interested in buying.
Well, if they haven't been paying rent for a year, they now have a down payment.
Not sure those are ones I'm approaching, but that is true.
You laugh, but there was somebody who had that exact case. They didn't pay rent for a year, and the tenant was like, "I'm moving out. See you later." And it was somewhere, I think, like Carrington or Fairport, and they walked and had all the cash saved up from not paying rent for a year to put a down payment on a house in Fairport.
Yep.
Yeah. I've heard that from other landlords. They're like, we're saving up to move to a better place. That's why they're not paying. So, yeah. And people are taking advantage of it. Funny story is that the other day, I was supposed to look at a house in the Rochester-Ronnequoit border, Ronnequoit schools, worth about 140 right now in this market. Typically, you're around 110. stuff selling over there. I know someone sold a house over there in one day for 139.9. Same type of house, ranch, and it wasn't even the tenant it was an estate. Sister was living there, 2 big dogs, one that would eat you in a heartbeat, the other one that would just, be nice. And they couldn't get the sister out, even though it was in the estate. They got to sell it. And we were going to buy it. I think it was right around 55 to 60. Great price. Oh my God. And the people were like, listen, she's not going to move out, but would you mind buying the house anyways? And could you rehab it? It needed full rehab, full. They go, could you rehab it with her still living there with the 2 big dogs? I'm like, yeah, sure, that'll work out. No, because it needed kitchen, bathroom, flooring. It needed everything on the inside. And, they were hoping to get rid of it because they knew the market was hot and they figured someone would buy it. And we can't take that chance. I'm not taking that chance. She's not leaving for her own family. I'm not even family. She's not going anywhere. And how are you going to get into the house? She's got 2 giant dogs, and let alone trying to get insurance on the property with these 2 dogs. One that'll eat you. I'm waiting to walk up to the house and see it walking around with somebody's arm or leg in its mouth. Okay. So, it's learn to say no. And then that one, that's a big no. I know we've only got like a couple minutes left over here. I don't know if anyone has anything that they'd also like to talk about, if anyone needs to add anything, or Scott, if you wanted to add anything. Did we even lose Scott?
No, I'm here.
Oh, there you are.
Yep. I'm good. Covered a lot of good information today, I think. And, appreciate everybody's input on it. It was good and valuable. Definitely, we'll see what happens the next 2 weeks. It'd be interesting 2 weeks from today when we have our night alternatives meeting. It'd be interesting. And let's see if maybe we can put the word out. Everybody who's on this call, put the word out to other people, get more people to join. Let's see if we can have a conversation to see what's going on with the market. Is it starting to shift or just what's happening? So I'm really looking forward to that meeting. So, and another thing too is, I should have brought this up earlier. I'm sorry. There's going to be a virtual self-storage event going on. I am one of the speakers for it. If you'd like information on it, you can, shoot me a text, send me an email. I can send you some information on how you can join it. I believe it's like 4 days. It's virtual. There's going to be different sessions, so you can join different sessions. I think to join the event's like $197 or something like that. It's the first one they've done. I think it's going to be well worth it. They're going to have some really, really good speakers at it, not just myself. I'm kind of the novice at this, but they're going to have some really good speakers on there, and it's going to be broke up over 4 days, and it'll be, I think it's going to be very good. So if you'd like more information on that, let me know. And then, so just shoot me an email, shoot me a text, give me a call. I can get you more information on that.
Do you have the dates on that at all, Scott, offhand?
Yeah, it's, I'm going to say it's like April, I think it's April 14th to the 17th or 14th to the 18th. I can double check that.
Are these like all day or?
Yeah, all day. And like I said, they broke up into sessions. So you can say, hey, Mike Wagner, everybody knows him. He is going to be one of the speakers on it. He's going to have a block of time. And I think he's going to be, his block of time is like an hour. So it's really nice. It's broke up into sessions. And I think that if you join it, they are going to record it so you can go back and watch it. Or if you missed a session, you can catch that session later. So, but it's going to be live. It's going to be question and answers. It's going to be a lot of good information. So I'll get the information out. If it's okay, I'll put the thing up on the FFREIA Facebook page, if that's okay.
2 things for the group. One is Susan is giving away her library of real estate investing books. If you're interested, shoot her an email at susanh@freia.com. And she's got a laundry list of books available that she's just willing to give away to members. Just got to figure out how to get it from her. And then the other thing is on Thursday evening, our marketing firm that FREIA has been using for the last 6 months, Surgical Marketing Group, is going to be speaking. The two partners, Nate and Paul, will be talking about marketing and social media and infographics and all of that stuff. So for people who are looking to up their marketing game for 2021 with the coming storm that Joe was talking about, I think it's well timed. Definitely want to tune in for that and make sure that you're getting your ducks in a row for whatever efforts you're going to put forth for the rest of the year.
Perfect. All right. Everybody all set? All right. Well, unless we have anything else, it's 10:30. Let's get after it and let's get some real estate today done. I appreciate everybody showing up. Have a great day.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.